Greetings all, this is Sweetborn3735 here, and welcome to the making of Pixel Paintballers. Now, this is sort of a little series I've wanted to do actually for quite some time. But essentially, as some of you may know, I'm doing a rewrite of my game Pixel Paintballers, and this time around I wanted to go ahead and give like little time-lapse episodes of what I'm doing in each one, how I'm essentially creating this game that I've been working on for almost about 4 years now, and how I'm starting to finalize everything that I've sort of learnt and how I'm putting that together. Now, this isn't going from the very beginning of the project, but more so kind of the halfway point of it. What I'm going to be working on for this series is the multiplayer aspect, which was actually one of the hardest systems to do. And even if you were to take a look at the latest release, which is V1.1.1, the multiplayer system itself works, but it's kind of buggy. There's a few things that still could have been patched. The system's laggy, and it's overall kind of a less quality than the rest of the game was. So in addition to obviously giving the facelift on all of the single player and menu systems, I've wanted to go ahead and focus on multiplayer and make that a system which works for everyone and really makes the game enjoyable. Because one thing that I find when I play a game is that the multiplayer, if the multiplayer is good and it functions well, you can really have a lot of fun with it. And that's what I want to do with Pixel Paintballers in that sense. In this episode, what I'm working on is the basic frameworks of the multiplayer system, building up the server, building up the client, and getting basic ping-pong functionality working within the game. So I'm just going to let this time-lapse play out now, and I'll show you what I got up to at the end of it. game's workspace a day after I created the initial time lapse. What I've been doing since then is just slightly tying in things like the server's target IP address, that sort of thing. So not too much has happened, but I just wanted to give a real-time demonstration of what's actually happening here. So at the minute, what we should see is when we start up a server and a client, what they'll do is the client will attempt to establish a connection with the server by sending a ping. And if the server receives this, it will send back a pong to say, hey, I'm alive, what's up, how you doing? So if we go ahead and run a server using our game modes and difficulties here, we can see up down in the same console that we get a few startup messages. We get a few startup messages and then we get our communication messages. So the first thing that we see here is from the server, and that's basically saying client on this host, localhost, and on port 52014 has sent a ping, and the client sees this, sends back a pong packet, which we can see here from the client, saying that the server, again on localhost, on port 1331 has sent a pong. And this isn't just limited just to this program here. We could create multiple programs and run it, just as I'm going to do now. And not only can this be done from my computer on localhost, this could be done from any other connection as well. So if I go ahead and bring this up and hit join game now, we should see over here, we get a message from the client saying that the server on port 1331 has said pong. If we look back over into our first instance, we can see here that a client on port 63142 has sent a ping. And this essentially means that we can have multiple programs which are just running clients that can send it all to one server operating on port 1331. And then we can communicate between those. We can send data about different players, different enemies, different paintballs, whatever we want. And then we can go ahead and use those to run a multiplayer game and run a multiplayer match between different people. And that's what's going to be happening. So the next time lapse I will be doing is starting to set up the packet system used for the game, and then we'll start looking into some of the connectivity packets, disconnectivity packets, and start bringing this information up on the screen rather than staying on this whole screen here. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, please be sure to let me know by hitting the like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it and you want to see more content from me, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or any questions about the stuff that I'm doing here and how this is essentially working, please be sure ahead and just drop me a comment. I'll go ahead and reply to it whenever I can. So yeah, this is SweetBoy1335 and I'm signing out. I'll catch you all later.